push that down. All right, we'll be right back. This channel is a member of the Astral Stars, which means we have a zero-tolerance policy against the harassment of others. Anybody who violates that policy will be banned. For further information, please visit www.theastralstars.com. Alright guys, we got that side set down. As you can see, everything is good. Let's get our ring, our snap ring, put it into place. Perfect. Alright guys, we'll be right back. Ready. Alright guys, now we're going to press the hub in. Now, in order for you to press the hub in, first, your racer inside here, you need something to hold up against that racer. And we're going to use this fitting right here. It has to fit right on side that racer, so that's what you're going to be pushing up against. You don't need to be pushing up against the bearings on the outside or you will damage it. So what you gotta do is sit here. This is gonna be kind of messed up. You gotta hold this into place. Bring it down. And if you want, you can just put your hands inside there to use that as a center point. Then you're going to get your hub, set it in just like that, and I am going to be using a 33mm socket. But before I do that, I want to get this centered where I'm going down. Take this back off because I have to make sure that cup down there, I have to make sure that is centered on that bearing. Okay, let's put this on. Put our socket right there. And I'm gonna have to, whoops, dang it. Dang, guess that one wasn't, you know what, let me line it up now. And actually, I'm gonna use a little extension to take up some of that space. Alright, what I'm going to do is line this up now, then take this off, and then go down here. It did move, so definitely want to make sure you're on that ring, guys. Alright, great. Now let's set our hub back in there. Get our socket and put it there. Oops. Alright. Let's bring our press down. Now we press down until it stops. And it stopped. And you don't go crazy. Just as soon as it stops, that is great. Alright guys, battery was dead, but we stopped right there. Now, let's release the pressure out of it and There we go. Pressed in. It is perfect. Look at that. That's a nice fit bearing. Look at that, guys. That is perfect. All right, let's get our other one set up, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, let's get our other one set up. Set up the center ring as much as we can. It don't got to be perfect, because once we get it over here, we're gonna be making some adjustments anyway. Okay. Before we start, let's put our hub on, our socket. Whoops. Here we are, pretty much lined up. All right. So take this off. Make sure our ring down there is centered. Okay. Put our hub back in there with our socket. Let's go move over a little bit. Back over this way a little bit. Okay, let's bring this down. That's a little bit off right there. You know what, guys? I don't like that. Because if you go too much on one side, that bearing's going to go down crooked. So I want to make sure that's perfectly lined up. Okay. Now, let's press this down till it stops, and we'll be right back. All right, got it pressed down. Let's get this off. Perfect. Spins perfect. All right. Wow, look at this thing. This thing is stacking plate. So rotted out right there. At least the screws are holding it in place. That's good. All right, guys. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're on the driver's side. Let's get this side up. Put our axle. You can probably see to the front right there. Get our axle to go in. Okay. Pick our whole entire assembly up. And what we're doing is over this side. I know it's too many sides to go through. We got it hooked into the lower control arm. In there. That's perfect. Let's take our nut. Put that on by a couple threads. And if you want, take your axle nut. Put that on by a couple threads. That'll hold that in place. All right, let's go to the other side, and we'll be right back. All right, we're on the passenger side. Pick it up. Put the axle in. Make sure that's lined up. Pick it all the way up to get that lower ball joint into there. Okay, then you can rest it down. Pick it up. Put the big nut down at the lower ball joint by a couple threads. And then take the axle nut and put that on. Everything is going to be held in place. Now what you're going to do on each side, now these are what you call castle nuts because they look like a castle if it's facing like that. So let's pick this up like this. Bring our upper control arm down. Now there's two ways of doing this, guys. You can either get your hydraulic jack up under the lower control arm and pick your lower control arm up, which will make this a heck of a lot easier. Or you can try to use your hands to push down like that. Get that started by a couple threads. At the same time holding it down, because it's not that easy. Then you can let it go. All right, I'm gonna go do the other side, and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, we're gonna tighten up this top one first. It's 17 millimeter, and what we're gonna do is now, in that upper ball joint, there's a hole in there that's got to line up with one of those lines in the castle nut. I'm not worried about that right now. The first thing we do, we're gonna get that tightened up. 17 millimeter deep, 3/8 drive. Do not rely on just this. These things are good. I hate to put earthquake down, but they suck as far as torque. You definitely gonna have to go ahead and tighten it up with your hand. And once you tighten it up, dang it, you wanna turn it until, if you look right there, you can probably see, it's on this side.
I was looking at the dot.
Oh, there is a hole actually for that side too. Is it? Is that one lined up better? No, it's not. But that one is straight ahead.
I think that's the one I was looking at.
So once it's lined up like that, get you a cotter pin. There's gotta be gotta make sure this thing is lined up. Not too far over. This is one thing I hate about this, guys. These things. Keep on turning until you get it lined up. And you gotta be careful. Sometimes it might be a smaller cotter pin that you need. Definitely don't go ahead and sit here. Perfect. All right, don't sit here and think you can tighten that up and leave it alone, because if you do, there's a good chance that bolt, that nut right there, will start turning, loosening, coming off. And if it comes off and you're doing about 65, 70 miles an hour, you're losing it. It's gone. Everything done. It's a wrap. All right, so definitely don't do that. Cotter pin is in. The next thing we're going to do is turn our spindle to the side, and then we're going to do the same thing to the bottom one right here. So let's get that tightened up first. Was that a 17 or 19? 19 millimeter. Let me get a 19 millimeter and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm going to use my 19 millimeter. I'm going to use my air gun. The first thing I'm going to do is tighten it up. All right, then comes the sucky part. You gotta, let's get a new cotter. Let's get a cotter pin, and we're gonna see if we got anything.
I don't see how you expect us to see if you keep putting your head in the way.
What the heck? I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to do.
Just saying.
You see it now?
Yeah, I see it.
That's a thin cotter pin. Get a thicker cotter pin. Cotter pins. Look. There we go. All right. Bend that out of the way. All right. And I'm going to do the other side, guys, and we'll be right back. All right, guys. Next thing we'll do, our wheel speed sensor. Let's get this. Put this right here. It's got 3 10 millimeter bolts holding this on. One right there. Let's turn this all the way to the side. Then we got one. Can you see in there? It is. Okay. Now you got a little hook right here on this harness. Make sure that hook goes into that little hole. Then put your 10 millimeter bolt in by a couple threads. And as I said, start off by hand so you don't cross thread it. And now you got your sensor down here. You can see in there, or you need a light?
No, I don't need light.
Alright, so let's take our 10 millimeter bolt out of here. And then our sensor will set right in that hole.
Now I can't. Can you turn the wheel a little bit more? Oh, there you go.
Right there?
Yep.
Okay. Push that sensor down. Put our 10 millimeter bolt in there by a couple threads. Everything is perfect. Let's get our 10 millimeter deep. And we're gonna tighten all three up. All right, let's get the other side done and we'll be right back. All right, guys, the next thing we're gonna do, stick our rotor on. Take your two 17 millimeter bolts out of your caliper bracket. Slide it over the rotor. Then get that lined up. Get your bolts started by a couple of threads before anything. Man, this is ridiculous, man. Should have put the rotor, put the thing on, but it's okay. Yeah, as you can see, these things don't line up to all that easy. Alright, got one. You know what, this sucks, man. Can't believe this thing ain't starting. Okay, what the heck is going on here? Sometimes you be wondering, like, dang, did I take this thing off of this or what? Finally, there it is, got it. All right, we'll be right back. All right, take a 17mm, and I'm going to be using my impact right here, 17mm 3/8 drive, and we'll go ahead. Tighten up those two bolts. Alright, this is a good time to take your rotor and spin your rotor back and forth. What you're listening for, you can bring the brake pads in if you want. What you're listening for is anything hitting toward this backing plate, because as we was pressing this thing, this backing plate definitely moved. And if you hear it scraping, that's all you have to do. It's very easily to bend this out of the way, bend it to wherever you want it to, actually. But if we spinning this, great, because it would be kind of dumb. You get all this thing together and all of a sudden you're hearing the scraping and then you got to take everything apart. But this is great. All right, I'm going to do the other side, and then when we come back, we're going to be tightening up the axle nut. Very important on this axle nut. All right, be right back. All right, guys, we are ready to put our caliper on. But before we put our caliper on, we got a seized up pin here. If you leave that pin seized up, you are looking for trouble. You are definitely looking for a fire, because them brakes will come in there, lock up, and this thing will just heat up and it will cause a fire. You definitely don't want that. So, two ways of doing this. One, you can just get a whole new caliper bracket. Number two, you can do what I'm about to do. Take your pair of vice grips. Now, if you're in a rust infested area, this ain't gonna work. You just gotta change that bracket. Take your vice grips. Get a nice grip on the pin. Turn the pin back and forth, and looks like I can get a better grip on that. Twist the pin back and forth. And once you get that to move, you want to put pressure out that way at the same time while turning it. Eventually, you're going to get it out. Let's pop that boot back. Grab it again. Take the pin out. Now, you get you some carburetor cleaner or brake cleaner, and you gotta constantly clean inside there. Now with the pin, you take it, get a wire brush, and clean all that up. So let's just clean all that stuff out of there. All right, now I'm gonna take a wire brush. I'm gonna go clean this up, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, got our pin cleaned up, or you can get new pins. And then what you want to do is take your little bit of anti-seize, not a lot. And this way you never have to worry about this again.
Never?
Never. That's right, that's what anti-seize does. Put the anti-seize in there, go to the boot clicks, and now look at that. That is perfect. All right, let's take our bolts out. Now remember I was telling you how each side of these pins has a flat side. So right now, let's set our flat sides in like that towards the brake pad. Let's get our caliper over here. Bring our caliper down. Make sure those pins, the flat side is right up against there. Take your two caliper bolts, start them off by a couple turns. You might have to move the caliper around to get these to line up, because they never line up like you want them to. Okay, that's one. And let's go in here and get the second one. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do, we got our caliper holes right here, our brake hose. Remember that 12mm bolt right there. Let's get that in there. Start it off by a couple threads to make sure we don't cross thread it. And we got our 12mm deep. Tighten up our bolts. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna go do the other side. When we come back, then we're gonna do the axle nuts. Be right back. All right, guys. The next thing we're gonna do is tighten up the center axle nut. Now, you gotta make sure this thing is tight, because if not, it will mess up that bearing. So we're gonna take our air gun. Go ahead. Tighten that up. Now, to stop this thing from spinning back, you see a little opening right inside there of the axle itself. What you're going to do is take you a punch, place it right about there, take a hammer, and beat that into there. You don't have to look pretty. Beat that in there. That will stop that nut from coming loose. All right, now while we're over here, let's take our outer tie rod. Stick our outer tie rod, push it down, get the nut. Let me watch out for 1 second.
It's under the jack stand.
Okay. Get our nut, put it up there by a couple threads, and let's get ready to tighten that up. We'll be right back. All right, we got a 19mm deep. You want to put a little pressure on the tie rod up here, push down, so the nut won't spin. Bring it in to tighten it up. You're gonna have, now being that this is not a castle nut, but it does have an opening right there, definitely want to take your cotter pin, stick your cotter pin in there, and lock that into place, so just in case the nut do come loose, it won't come out. This side is done, guys. Look at that, it looks pretty. Nice new strut back there, everything, nice new bearings, everything is in order. All right, we'll go hook on the other side, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, now for the coup de grace. Finally, tighten up your tires. Now, usually a lot of guys will tighten the tire going around in a circle. You can't do that, just in case there's rust in the back of there or corrosion. And if you tighten it up like that, you might cause the wheel to not set straight. It'll set like this. So when you're going down the road, the car will be wobbling. So you want to tighten it up in a cross pattern. First of all, what I do is I like to bring this on just a little bit, just to keep the wheel from not moving. Then I'm gonna tighten up this one, go to this one, go to this one, which is not there. So I'm gonna go over here and then tighten up that one. Shake the wheel back and forth. This is perfect. Turn the wheel. Make sure you don't hear nothing scraping, like that backing plate or anything. Everything is good. All right. There you have it, guys. I'm going to put the other wheel on, and this job came out great. I hope you learned a lot with this. All right. We'll be right back.
Well, hello. I am Tori, the owner of this 2010 Honda Accord. Today, this 2010 Honda Accord needed struts and wheel bearings replaced. So that is what we did today, replace the struts and the wheel bearings on this Honda. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, or something that you don't quite understand, please click the link below, or you can email Tim at tim@astroauto.com. Thanks.
What you doing?
There you go.
Are we starting all the way over?
If you want.
Okay.
Yeah, say what you want.
We don't want to start all the way
Okay,
over.
then we'll start over.
So, gave you the wrong email address. Right email address is, you can email Tim at astroautorepair.
Yes.
Repairs with an S. Don't forget that part, okay? .com, okay? And remember, if we can't repair it, nobody can. Can you dig it?
that was good. See, now you get confidence.